Afternoon. My name is James Hardcastle. I work with the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, and I head up our work on protected and conserved areas worldwide. So, protected areas, conserved areas, nature reserves, national parks, urban spaces, coastal mangroves, marine protected areas, community conserved areas, you name it. There's a whole range of areas, green spaces that are protected and have a function in preserving species, wildlife, biodiversity, but also their contributions to mitigating the climate crisis that we're currently suffering. But what we at the IUCN are really looking at now, in a major way with all our partners, is how these areas are so important for our health as people, our mental health, physical health, spiritual health. And indeed, the recent pandemic has shown how important access to these places is for people and their well-being. Many of us were cut off. We were not able to access any type of forest, fresh air, space. We were really confined. And that brought home to us not only that this is a fundamental, need for people, but also that cutoff is for many people is too often the norm. That many of our urban people and urban population, people in cities around the world, do not have the type of access to nature and do not have the right to benefit from a clean, fresh environment. Some places have got it right. So, for example, in Colombia, the capital city, Bogota, it has Chingasa National Park. It's a 100,000 hectare protected area, national park, just above the city. This provides the environmental services for the water. So all the water filtration from the Altiplano comes down and services the city. It's also such an important place for people in Bogota to escape on the weekend, to go hiking, to have picnics, to go and be in nature. And Chingasa National Park is recognized by IUCN on our green list. The green list is a standard and a certification for effective area-based conservation. So Chingaso is a really good example of where we as IUCN recognize protected areas as being effective when they can bring a contribution to people and to nature. And that contribution includes health and well-being. So the recent pandemic really highlighted, how fragile our planet is becoming, and that rub between ecosystem degradation, the contact between species and our society, our domesticated animals, that friction point is becoming increasingly exposed in many, many places. And there's an increase in the number of spillover events. And we really want to see the international community, all of you on here, everybody, really thinking about how we can better support early detection, early prevention measures, monitoring, and a kind of a first line of defense against future pandemics by really bringing the investment, the thinking about area-based conservation as pandemic prevention and for its health benefits, and really to bring a One Health approach that nature conservation, area-based nature conservation is a key fundamental principle for sustainable development, and it underpins all the other sustainable development goals. It's life on land. The area-based conservation is so important. If we can, for example, through IUCN, we're bringing training, we're bringing guidance for protected area managers, protected area staff on how they can better play a role in the monitoring and the early detection of zoonotic disease events. Many protected areas, they have veterinary services, they have guards, they have monitoring, they're connected to local people. They're the first detection, the first indication that there could be a spillover event or some incident happening. And that early warning is so important. Like the early detection of a zoonotic event is fundamental. So please take this message away. Protected and conserved areas are so important for our health. They're so important for our well-being, and they're so important in preventing future pandemics and the future kind of impacts globally that we faced from the most recent COVID-19 pandemic. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the event.